It's been a rocky road for personal auto insurers in recent years. AM Best has a new report out that suggests the segment may be making a U-turn. I'm John Weber for AM Best TV, and here to discuss this line of business is AM Best Director Raymond Thomson and Samuel Hanig, Senior Industry Research Analyst. And Sam, loss and severity trends have been unfavorable for insurers in recent years. Is this a trend that's continuing?
Severity trends are a little bit more stable than frequency trends. When we look at frequency trends, recently we've seen some improvement. We've seen, compared to 2017, when we look at 2018, we've seen improvement in frequency. What makes that uncertain going forward is there are some macro level factors that could suggest frequency might be on the up. However, there's also macro level factors that may suggest frequencies on the decline. For example, we're seeing an increase in miles driven. The more miles driven on the road, the more accidents we can expect to see. However, those increases are tapering off. So this would suggest an increase in frequency, however, less so. As a counterexample to that, we are also seeing a slow increase in gas prices. So the more expensive gas becomes, it starts with oil, it leads to a higher cost of gas. The more these prices rise, we can expect to see fewer people on the road, and this might suggest a reduction in frequency. So that kind of adjusts the frequency, and it's not exactly clear how that's going to play out in the future. It looks like gas prices will be on the rise. There's some other components, unemployment, for example. The lower unemployment is, the more people are working. The more people are working, the more people have auto insurance. The more auto insurance they have, the higher incidences of claims we can expect to see. So if unemployment is to maintain at this level, we can expect to see about the same level of accidents and approximately the same level of frequency. On the other side, which is a little bit more simple, is severity. Severity is a little bit more straightforward. With severity, we're seeing a very clear increase in medical costs. We're seeing a very clear increase in the cost to repair motor vehicles. These costs are outpacing increases in the CPI. So when it comes to severity, that's going to continue to rise. In addition to these other macro level indices, vehicles are becoming more complicated. Every year there's more technological advances, and these find their way to auto vehicles. And when these vehicles get into an accident, it just costs more to repair them. So when it comes to severity, we expect that to continue to rise for the foreseeable future.
You mentioned how complex vehicles are getting lately. Do you think insurers are able to account for things outside of their control, such as these more complex vehicles, and also things like distracted driving as a result of cell phone use?
It's tough to say how that's going to play out into the future. Insurers can continue to take efforts to recommend safe driving habits, to advise risk mitigating behaviors, to advise their customers to put the cell phone down. Some of these distracted driving behaviors are reflected already in the data. So going forward, I think insurers should continue to be aware, to continue to advise their customers of safe driving habits. But these new technologies, they will probably persist. And insurers will just need to be cognizant and advise their policyholders, include educational materials, so that going forward they can best manage these exposures.
And that having been said, human behavior is going to be human behavior, and that's always going to be an element that can't be controlled completely.
Now, Ray, insurers have been at the forefront of incorporating new technologies. Do you think the smaller players, however, are able to keep up with the larger ones when it comes to this?
Well, as we know, the larger insurers are really getting very technologically advanced, the use of data in their analysis and pricing. These smaller companies are challenged to keep up, but they can bring other things to the table. Your localized knowledge, your localized experience, maybe some more value-added services, the idea that you know your agent as opposed to your computer. Those are some of the things that can keep the smaller auto writers in the game.
Sam, do you think insurers will be able to sustain the recent positive performance?
Certainly, 2017 was a strong rebound year. 2018, from the data that we've seen, is an improvement. The industry as a whole was well capitalized. As long as insurers are current and aware of their own data trends, of macro level trends impacting their industry, for at least the short term, performance should be able to be preserved.
Sam, Ray, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
You can find the full report online at ambest.com. And for AM Best TV, I'm John Weber.